how you start a podcast. Who drinks RC soda? Like, isn't that like 1950s?
This is like a limited time flavor, and I see why it's limited because it's trash. I saw it in the store like, oh, berries and cream RC cola. That might be decent. It's not.
I tried something limited. Okay, is the show started?
Yeah.
Okay. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Scarfinger. This is Scarcasm. We are back with some more August. Delvin Cox is in the building.
We have Scarfinger, a.k.a. Real Talk.
Really? You went there? Wow. I haven't heard that in a long time. And of course, Chase is in the building.
Yep.
And all right, so you were talking about limited edition stuff, and you said the RC that you had is limited edition, and it's not very good.
Limited edition trash.
It's a cool can, though.
Yeah, it's RC berries and cream. You can suck my berries and cream. This shit's garbage.
Okay, so I had some limited edition, and
Damn.
I had, and I have subsequently finished and started another bag of the Cool Ranch Lays. And I can say definitively, these are the shit that this should be a normal thing. Like,
well, sometimes that shit ends up like, like when Mountain Dew does all their crazy shit. Some of those end up as, I mean, that's how Code Orange started, or not Code Orange,
Code Red.
Code Red. It started as a limited thing, and then everybody loved it, so now it's just normal shit.
I miss flavored Mountain Dew, like different flavors of Mountain Dew, because they don't make a whole lot of that in diet, and I'm fat and I got diabetes, and shit happens.
Well, I don't really drink soda at all anymore. Once we started getting on this sparkling water kick, at first it was like, man, this shit's nasty, but after like a week or two, we got used to that shit, and we can't even like soda.
Okay, see, here's the problem with sparkling water.
It sucks.
There is a difference. There's a difference, though. There's a difference between when it's in a bottle and there's a difference when it's in a can. When it's in a can, avoid that bitch at all costs. That shit just tastes like flavored seltzer water, which no one should like seltzer water. But
that's the only way I've tried it.
Nah, dog. Well, I've never had those. I never had those because those are for weird people.
So you say I should try the bottle one?
Try the bottles. If it's in a bottle.
My favorite LaCroix is a limoncello.
I ain't talking about the LaCroix. Like, fuck that. I ain't never tried that shit. Like what is?
They're the same price. We get all the brands, but they're the same prices. They're all the same price. There's Bubbly, which is made by Pepsi. There's Aha, which is made by Coke, and then LaCroix is its own thing.
Nah, if it's in a can, I ain't fucking with it. Nope, not at all. Ain't fucking with it. Not at all. Not gonna happen for me. Because every time I go, this one might be different. Turns out not to be the case. The last one I tried, I was in Dollar Tree, and they had some Jelly Belly ones. Jelly Belly's sparkling water. And I'm like, they can't fuck this up.
Yes, they can.
Yes, they can. Because, and I got, black person. I got the watermelon, and they fucked that up.
I believe that 100%.
Because it just tasted like fucking, when you're in like McDonald's or something like that, and the fucking syrup.
Yeah, it tastes like that for a little bit, and then once you get used to it, it doesn't no more.
That shit tastes like what you would think that static tastes like. Like, you know what I mean? Like static on the TV. Like, it's just what it tastes like to me. Like, it tastes like what you would feel like bumping your elbow really hard against something would fucking taste like.
I had a Sprite that didn't work. And man, I took a sip of that, and it felt like I just drank a bowling ball. It just went boom, and I was like, bleh. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's just so, yeah.
Wow.
It just made me burp so bad.
I haven't had an actual Sprite in a long time. Like, I do the off-brand shit. Like, I go to Walmart, get the Walmart brand shit. But like, I don't think I've had an actual Sprite in a very long.
Oh, I have it all the time because when you go to like get fast food, Pepsi, Coke.
The Sprite definitely doesn't affect me as much. If I get a dark soda, it's just so heavy. Like Dr. Pepper, Coke, like any of that stuff, it's just so heavy, man. It feels like I'm drinking a steak.
I just wish they made more stuff in diet. like, of course, the sparkling water, like most of that stuff doesn't have like sugar and stuff in it, so that's pretty cool. But like, I wish they made more sodas for people like me. Like, we really have like the colas, the Sprites, and stuff like that. Maybe a ginger ale, and then it's just orange.
Let me ask you this: how do you feel about the zero sodas?
Zero sodas are just fine for me. I ain't got no issues with zero sodas.
So Pepsi Zero, Coke Zero.
Yeah,
they have
but
Dr. Pepper Zero,
Whichever
Mountain Dew
one
Zero.
has sucralose instead of the aspartame, because aspartame tastes like ass.
That's why it's called aspartame.
But it's just, I mean, yeah, that seems like that should be the show title. That's why it's called aspartame. I gotta remember that. They just don't make a whole bunch of stuff in diet, and it just sucks because like mostly what you can find, like you can get like the Mountain Dew stuff. Occasionally they'll make a diet version.
Yes, they do.
Well, don't they have a diet version of that new? Well, I don't know if it's new now, but that melon one.
Baja Blast.
Well, not Baja.
Yeah, I've seen it, and then I've seen the one where it's like a melon.
Yeah, Major Melon. That's the one I was thinking about. Yeah,
Let me ask you this, Scarfinger. Have you ever thought about getting a soda stream?
You talked about this recently, right? Did we talk about this on the show, or did we talk about it in our just game night chats? We literally just talked about this.
I think it might have been on the show, but it also might have been on the game night because we've been having those so much. We've been having so many shows to where they're bleeding together on which one we actually talked about it.
So we just talked about this, and I just had some yesterday. So I went to Popeyes. My daughter wanted some Popeyes for some reason, so I went to Popeyes, and I finally got my car fixed yesterday. And so I went to Popeyes, and then I went inside because if you know, like I know, or if Popeyes is the same here as it is everywhere else, like if you go in that drive-through,
you gonna wait a minute.
You might as well bring a book, nigga. Like, what the like? I don't know what the fuck they be doing with the drive-thru, but like, go inside. If you gonna order your food, just go inside, order your food. So, but like, I ordered some nuggets. They told me I had to wait, so I sat there in the little seats right there by the machine. So I was basically drinking like the Sprite Zeros. I was just switching the flavors, like because of course they take forever. Even if you go inside, they take forever. But at least when you're inside,
you just pulled your chair up. You're like, I'm just gonna sit right here at this machine. And you're just like,
no, I was sitting not even 3 feet away from the machine, so like I was right there. But yeah, so I had some, and I was just trying the different flavors. I know I sat there because they slow as fuck. I know I tried at least 4 different flavors, including one that I absolutely didn't want. They had a pomegranate blueberry, and I'm not a fan of either. But I'm like, fuck it. I'm sitting here. I'm not doing anything. It didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. I mean, I'm not a fan of those flavors, but like, it's not like anything I'm like really adverse to.
You're the only person I know that's like so against mango though.
Yeah, I can't do mango. I can't do mango. Like even if they had mango in that machine, I'm not using mango flavored anything. Mango is always better in thought than it is in practice. Like mango, like if you say like we gonna have some mangoes, you're always like, yeah, mangoes. And then when you have some, it's just like, oh, it's just mango.
I like mango, but I like the juice more than I like the actual fruit itself because the fruit is really messy. It's really messy. It can be stringy. Then you have the little pit in it you got to take out. It's a mess eating mango. So it's kind of like, I'd rather just have mango nectar as opposed to dealing with all of what comes with mango.
Pomegranate is cool as a fruit because it's almost like you're eating candy. Those little pockets or whatever.
Yeah, I can see why you think that.
I guess I can go with you on that, but I haven't had an actual I'm from Virginia, we country. I haven't had a Chinese apple in a long time. Like, do y'all call them Chinese apples where y'all live? They've been Chinese apples for me for a long ass time. But
no, I call them pomegranate. I've heard the expression before, but yeah, I'm like, I guess that is what people call it.
Yeah,
I never thought about it till you said it.
I haven't had one of those in a very long time.
Is that offensive, by the way? Can we still can call those Chinese apples?
Well, there isn't really anything derogatory about it, right? Like,
I don't know.
It's offensive.
But do they come from China?
I don't know.
See, that's the point.
Okay.
That's like what we call Native Americans Indians. Like, no, they're Native Americans.
Hold up.
Now we got to find out. We may get canceled.
I think that's why, like, less people have an issue with like the Chiefs than they do the Indians.
It don't say nothing about China, so maybe.
Oh, we're in trouble.
I mean, that's always what it's been like. I mean,
yeah, that's just what it's called. Now.
So we're thinking like.
I will look it up.
It says Middle East, mostly.
Well, pineapples don't come from pine trees, so.
Mediterranean, Middle East, and Afghanistan, India, and it's cultivated here, but that's not where they're from. So,
here we go. You're okay. You're safe. I found something.
You found something. Where you find it?
On Google. I googled it real quick. I googled Chinese apples, and it says the pomegranate, one of the world's most ancient fruits, has had a long history and fascinating history. Although it's probably originated in Persia, cultivation spread quickly through the Mediterranean and throughout Arabia, Afghanistan, India, and China, where it is called the Chinese apple. There you go.
Word. Good. Vindication, motherfuckers.
They call it the Chinese apple in China, so it is acceptable. There you go.
So they just they were like, we know this come from everywhere else, but we're taking this. This is now the Chinese apple.
It's like what Americans do with everything. We take shit that's already invented and just call it our own name.
Right? Let's be honest about this. Like I mean this the problem with us is like anything that we call American, for the most part didn't really originate here, because none of us originated here.
Yeah.
The only people that originated here, we've kind of snuffed out.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, the Native Americans, which they called Indians.
Right. Yeah. No. We call them Indians because dumbass Christopher Columbus thought he was Indian.
But they're not Indians.
Right. I know one of my coworkers is part Native American and she calls herself an Indian. But she's also
1/16.
I don't know her makeup, but she passes for a white lady and she acts as if she's a white lady.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, she's a Trump supporter, like all this.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So and she's a supporter of the Confederate monuments.
Oh yeah, it don't get no whiter than that. Yeah. You just hit no white bingo.
Yeah. She watches all of those. She used to watch these videos all the time. All of the weird black people that we don't claim, like those two twin dudes were like super Republican. I don't know their name.
The Hodge brothers, I think, or something like that.
I don't know, but like I knew when I saw them to avoid that video. And like
I know too many white people.
And like Candace Owens and stuff like that. She used to watch their videos and shit all the fucking time.
At work?
Yeah, because my job, I work for a moving company, but I work in the office. So like, I'm sitting there waiting for the phone to ring or for an email to come in for me to deal with and try to quote a move so I can book it. Like that type of thing. That's what the majority of my job is. So like,
bold thing to watch it work.
There's a ton of downtime. I watch all kinds of shit. Like I finished the season of The Witcher today at work.
See, that's understandable to me. That makes sense to me. Like watching The Witcher TV show.
But it's all like Facebook stuff. Like we all are all on like Facebook and shit all fucking day. And she's a Facebook Republican. Like she doesn't actually vote, but she's a Facebook Republican. So that's where she's getting her information from.
But it's just what she wrote with. It's wild that people like. If I worked in an office where there are a lot of different people there, I wouldn't be watching stuff with my political views on it because I don't want people.
But the office staff, the actual office staff, as opposed to the guys that go out and actually do the job, there's 5 of us.
Okay, so they don't.
We're not dealing with we're not like a huge. It's not like a huge office. Like what I mean. Like it's 5 of us.
But even so, I'll be like, if it's 5 of us there, and I can see you watching all these Trump ass videos, I'm gonna look at you a little crazy, like what the fuck?
Well, I don't share hardly anything about myself at work when it comes.
Yeah, that's my thing. That's my point.
I'm gonna tell you
Even
something. I'm gonna
music,
tell you
because I'm
something.
like, people
I'm
might think I'm satanic or something because I listen to
I'm
metal and shit.
I'm gonna tell you how different I am at work. My coworkers think I'm quiet.
Oh, okay. They're clearly wrong.
Clearly, clearly. But yeah, my coworkers think I'm quiet. I don't share a whole lot. I share some, like, I'm part of conversations, but for the most part, like, everybody else got a whole bunch of shit going on. So I'm just kind of the motherfucker that just let people talk. Like,
Let me ask you this: do they think you're a safe black person? Is that what they think? Like us?
no.
Or they think you're the
because
scary black
because
person?
I share bits of myself, but I do tell people, like, yo, when I'm not at work, nigga, I say nigga all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just the type of motherfucker I am. Like, I'm just like, nah. Like, I'm different. I'm different here. And I got a coworker who is like just loud and obnoxious and all of these things, right? And I tell them all the time, he's a Virgo, just like I am. And I tell them all the time, I am him at home. Like that, like what you are talking, what you are witnessing right now, that's me at home. Like, I don't do this here because I separate myself. Like, I don't even think of myself in the same way when I'm at work. I am, like, there ain't no Scarfinger there, ain't no Michael there. I am Mike at so and so job when I am at that job. Like, it's like the ultimate in code switching. But like, yes, like I said, my coworkers think I'm quiet.
Well, let me tell you a funny story about that since you mentioned it.
Okay.
So, I work in a property management company, kind of family owned. That's the best way to describe it. And me and my grandma have been working together now since 2012. And grandmothers, she needs help. That's why I'm working it, because she's in her 80s now, so she don't want to retire. She needs somebody to help. I'm the person who would be willing to help her stay with her and run the business. But I digress. So,
Okay.
working with my grandmother, I'm a kind of quiet person. Not because I'm choosy, because I don't like to be bothered. So my grandmother hasn't for a long time seen all the sides of me. What I mean by that is she don't know that I have a temper in terms of, like, I'm cool 90% of the time, but when you cross the line with me, you cross the line. Like, really cross the line, and I will fuck you up.
It's grandma. Like, grandma ain't supposed to see that side of you. Like,
exactly.
Unless somebody trying to do something to grandma, then that's the only time grandma is supposed to see that side of you. But
and now we're getting to that.
Okay.
So there was a time not too long ago in here. Well, it was a while back now. Somebody came in here talking crazy to grandma, and people think because I'm quiet and I wear glasses, I won't fuck you up.
Before you said it, I was thinking, it was like, people think because I'm quiet, I won't fuck you up. But, like, be clear.
Yeah. So, dude getting loud at the counter, because we have like it's a rent office, so we have like a bulletproof glass and all that stuff there, so nobody can't act crazy. He's screaming, he yelling. I calmly get up. My grandma like, we should call the police. I'm like, nah, fuck that. I get up and say, yo, my man, what the fuck you said? Who you talking to? He said, look, let me explain something right now. I got real low. I will come over there and fuck you up in a way that you can't imagine. So keep running your mouth. And he saw the look on my face, and he got ready to say something, and we have like a bat in this office. I grabbed the bat, started walking towards the exit, and he's like, oh shit, this dude is crazy. And my grandmother said, and he ran. He ran and like left.
I mean, brother, grab a bat, like, you know what I mean? If you ain't got no weapon, like.
Yeah. He came, now when he comes to pay the rent, the next time he came in, matter of fact, he called me that day, profusely apologizing, and like, yo, I didn't know you was going to snap like that. And my grandmother looked at me like the whole time, like, I didn't really realize how violent you can be sometimes. Like, no, it's only so
That wasn't violence. That was the threat of violence. Yeah. But I need to make this clear that violence can happen.
Yeah.
And it's only can happen to you.
It's only so much you're going to say in my presence before I fuck you up. And I'm the type person who won't even say nothing. While everybody yelling and screaming, I'll just quietly get up, beat the shit out of you, and go sit back down. And it'll be really bad. So I try not to get angry, but yeah, it happens. Like, yeah. And she saw that side, like, yeah, please don't get this boy back. Because he is far worse than anybody I can think of in my family.
I I let a lot of stuff roll. I'm not a person that like even really gets upset a lot.
I don't either.
But when I get upset, when when I get upset, hell is coming with me. Like wherever I'm going, hell is coming with me. Like I'm really not. I'm really kind of a. I'm way more of a live and let live type of dude. But like disrespect will not be tolerated.
Yeah, I'm 100% on that tip. Like I will let shit slide. I'll let shit slide until it gets to a point where I'm like, all right, you got to get fucked up. And when I'm fuck you up, it's gonna be something you're gonna remember. Like,
Right.
So
Yeah,
let me ask you something. What would you do if someone on a podcast put you and Chris Hansen in the same sentence and did that same thing to you?
that they did the Dev. Oh no, I'll take that with stride. I found that funny. I appreciate that Dev is a good person. With a little behind the scenes, I knew that was gonna happen.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because Donnie sent me that video a couple days earlier, and then after that happened, after we all discussed, after the episode ended and stuff like that, we talked about it, and Donnie was like, "I didn't want to do it to you because I didn't know what your response would be." And I said, "Yeah, I think that makes sense." Like, you know,
like that's putting me in the same sentence with R. Kelly, and that is not something that we can do.
yeah.
I was like, it was funny, but I was like, man, that's fucked up.
It is, but
I try to be funny, and I can be funny, and I can joke on people, like you know, like Chase is my punching bag. Like I have no problems with you know fucking with Chase and all this kind of stuff, but like joking on somebody and just being cruel, that sounds like cruel to me, and I won't go cruel.
it is. But
And it's
that's
not
their
like
relationship.
Yeah, I know, but it's so crazy that it's not like he like had someone pose and act like Chris Hansen. He got Chris Hansen to do it.
Yeah, he got
Him.
the Chris Hansen.
Whoa.
Yeah, it wasn't like a makeup Chris Hansen. It was Chris Hansen with the whole thing, the video. Like, it was wild. Funny as fuck.
That sounds like that's a line. And like, did you just cross the line here?
Like, that's their relationship. They're really, Donnie and Dev are really close, so it makes sense for them to have that interaction.
But you get painted as the habitual line stepper.
Yeah, I do. It's because I'm honest. It's not like I say shit that I jokingly say it, but I'm true to myself when I go on the podcast. Like here.
No,
Like
I'm gonna tell you something. Like a while ago, when y'all were having a conversation about Halloween candy, I signed up for the Discord just so I can fight on behalf of Candy Corn. Like we, like sometimes don't front on my Candy Corn, dog. Like I would say like there's a lot of stuff I can let go. Like I said, I will fight for my Candy Corn. And matter of fact, I've had bags of candy corn twice in the past 2 weeks because the Family Dollar's already started putting out their Halloween shit. So I've had some Harvest Mix twice. With some peanuts, of course. You put some peanuts in there with the candy corn.
Wait, if you're eating candy corn, why are you worrying about what soda you drinking?
That's a good point.
Because
candy corn is way sweeter than soda.
Because it's in moderation. Like I can easily like control how much candy corn I eat. Like if I'm not paying attention and I'm just drinking something, like most of the time if I'm drinking something, that shit gone, and I'm like, where the fuck did my soda go? Like that, like you know what I mean? So that's a situation.
I mean, I can see that.
Well, let me ask this then: why not just buy the small cans of soda, like the little 8-ounce cans?
No, fuck that, because that's some dumb shit. Like my daughter wants me to buy sometimes. Like she'd be like, "Yeah, I want these little cans," and I'm like, "Yo, it's $2.50 for this little can. It's $2.89 for the full size fucking cans. Like, why are we doing this?"
I mean, I like that for liquor. Like I would definitely get 3 of those little bottles and be like, this is $3, and I'm going to moderate myself, and this is like 3 shots, and I'm good. Like loose for the podcast or whatever.
Well, you know, I don't drink very much, so
right. But like,
you did, was that the last podcast that you did? You did a couple of those?
Yeah, because I normally don't do liquor, but we had those left over for the hot toddies, and I was like, I'll go ahead and finish these off. But I was like thinking after I did that, For one, they were really good, and then I was like,
I don't,
man,
I don't drink. What's a hot toddy?
it. What's
I'm not,
a
I'm not
hot
a drinker.
toddy is more for when you're sick, but it's like honey and tea and some bourbon, and you drink it
Heard
hot,
of that
and
before. Yeah,
it's
I
for
never
your
heard it with that
throat.
name.
Yeah,
I've heard people use bourbon to drink when they're sick to make them feel better. Yeah, I've heard of those.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like is it is it bourbon or what is it like when your baby is teething, you put a little bit on your finger, rub it on the
That's
tongue.
bourbon. Yeah, it's bourbon.
Okay,
Somebody
I've
mentioned
heard.
that to me the other day. That's why I know that.
Okay, yeah.
Somebody
So
told me they had a kid and they were like, "Oh, the kid's teething," and they said, "I'm going to put bourbon on their tongue." Like, sure you want to do that? Look, turn this kid to an alcoholic so early.
yeah,
Well,
I'm not much of a drinker, so but
I don't drink at all.
like I said, it's extremely rare for me to drink. I've had a bottle of wine in my fridge for over a year. I bought it because someone else was having my coworker, her husband had cancer, and like the wine was like something that he could actually do. So he had a party where you just brought a bottle of wine for him. But I'm like, yo, if I'm buying bottle of wine for somebody else, I might as well buy one for myself. So I bought one, and like I gave him his, and then mine has just been sitting in the fridge.
Well, wine's not like beer and stuff, so it gets it can sit on the shelf like that. You know.
Right. And then yo, there's some wine stuff that I kind of want to buy. It's like one of those Sutter Home things. It's a big ass bottle. It's like $9 in Walmart, but it's wine, but it's like lemonade.
Okay.
They got one of those, and they got one that's an iced tea. I don't really care about the iced tea, but the lemonade one. Every time I walk past that bitch, I'm like, I'm gonna buy that bitch one day.
You could put the lemonade one in the iced tea one.
That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Yeah, my daughter loves Arnold Palmer. It's cool.
I'm thinking about this now because why not just buy lemonade?
I mean,
Just
it just looked cool.
I
It
guess
just
you
looked
can buy
cool.
lemonade and put some vodka or something in it, but wine. But that if
I've
you
seen
wanted,
I've seen people do some dumb shit lately. They're putting Kool-Aid packets in Simply Lemonade, and I'm like, I can't do that.
What?
Yeah,
Why?
I've seen these videos on the Facebook, the short videos, like the TikTok, Facebook videos, whatever the fuck those things are called.
Yeah.
But yeah, people have been putting a packet of Kool-Aid inside some Simply Lemonade, and I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I'm not gonna besmirch some Simply Lemonade. Like, I'm not gonna. That's like using Polynesian sauce on inferior chicken. Like, that's not something that we could do. Like, I would not. I refuse. I refuse to use Polynesian sauce on anything other than Chick-fil-A. Like, nothing else comes close. So, like, even if I make some chicken at home, or if I get some nuggets from somewhere else, and I ain't get the right sauce, then I'm just assed out, because I'm not putting no Polynesian sauce on anything other than Chick-fil-A. That's some bullshit, and I'm not gonna tear up my fucking Simply Lemonade by putting fucking Kool-Aid in it.
well, I get the
I've only-
lemonade thing, but Scar does have some weird stipulations on it. But
Nah, dog. Everything else get regular sweet and sour sauce. Only Polynesian sauce only go on Chick-fil-A, dog. It don't go on nothing else.
I've only had Chick-fil-A one time, and it wasn't good. But I don't blame Chick-fil-A for that. I blame DoorDash for that,
Okay.
because I think the Chick-fil-A is too far from my house, and
So by the time
this
it got to you.
yeah, I think this was like in the early days of DoorDash. What I don't think they still had it all together. Like, I don't think they had like the insulated food bags and stuff like that.
well, I've only used Grubhub, and normally it'll say how far the place is from your house, and it'll try to like put the things that are close to you like up to the top. So if you keep scrolling, you're going to find something that might be 20 miles away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was because Chick-fil-A is not too far from me. I want to say it's like 15 minutes away, 20 minutes away. But it's just, I guess it was.
And Chick-fil-A is good, but it's not that good for me to drive 20 fucking minutes.
Yeah, I never had Chick-fil-A. It was one of those. It was a Sunday. No, it wasn't a Sunday. It was Saturday.
Well, it could have been a Sunday.
Yeah, they're close. That's what I thought about. It was a Saturday.
If it was a Sunday, you got Chick-fil-A, then you got some Chick-fil-A from Saturday.
Day old Chick-fil-A.
You got some day old Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, it was a Saturday, and we had like, there's nothing to eat right now, so let's order some DoorDash. Like, fuck it, let's order DoorDash. And we was like, Chick-fil-A. I never had Chick-fil-A before. They have like the waffle fries and stuff like that. So I ordered everybody like a Chick-fil-A meal and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay, look. Waiting for it to come. It finally got it. I'm like, oh, this is kind of fucking mid. Because I didn't know, like you're saying about the sauce and stuff. I didn't know like the routine of what people order on the Chick-fil-A food. So I just ordered what they had. Like, the sandwiches and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. It was very lackluster.
I put Polynesian on the sandwich, dog.
So you're saying I need to go to Chick-fil-A and get the Polynesian sauce and stuff like that. Okay.
It's kind of like a sweet and sour, but it's different. It's not like it's different.
It's something about that Nesian, dog. Like that Nesian, bruh. Like
do I need to go in there with a Bible in my hand?
It's no, I wouldn't say so. I mean,
you need to go in there with the prize flag in your hand. That's what.
It's Chick-fil-A, so like you might eat something, you might start hating the gays, but that was wrong.
I hope not. I'm very fond of the gays. They're great people.
Well, Chick-fil-A is not very fond of the gays.
They're not. They are very. That's one of the reasons why I never was interested in going. I'm like, ain't no chicken be that fucking good. Like, there's no chicken can be that good to make me like question my morals.
And then a lot of people have similar issues with Hobby Lobby.
See, I heard Hobby Lobby has the same thing, and I never went to Hobby Lobby anywhere, so like, I don't give a shit. Hobby Lobby is one of those things where like I can live my whole life not even knowing this shit exists. And I lived most of my life not knowing this was a thing.
Okay, so like here's the thing, right? Hobby Lobby is not the best place on earth, but depending on what you're going to a craft store for, Hobby Lobby is much better than Michael's. Because like from where I live, Hobby Lobby and Michael's are about equidistant away. If I need some painting stuff, I can go to either, right? If I need some painting stuff, I can go to either.
So you're saying like Michael's is like Walmart, but Hobby Lobby is like Target? It's like a little bit of step above, like quality of merchandise?
No, it purely depends on what you're going there for. Like you can there's things that they both have, and then there's things that like when I'm making like candles or something like that, I can't go to Michael's. Their selection for making candles is horrible. Like
well, when I was doing art stuff, like I hated them all. The only place I went to was kind of far from my house, which was Jerry's Artorama in Raleigh, and because everything else was just like
there must be some
beginner shit. I needed like real fucking shit,
Yeah. Well, the closest thing to me is Michael's, so that's one place we really go to. Hobby Lobby's like out the way. And usually when I go to a place like that, it's for my daughter because she's like heavy into art and stuff like that. So I wouldn't go for myself. I don't even fuck about none of that stuff anymore.
I miss painting. I still got like fucking totes and totes of like paint and the supplies.
Yeah, I can't make a new doom metal album because you can send me no more pictures of paint for the album covers.
I mean, there's a bunch of pictures that you didn't use. Like, have fun. But yeah, I miss painting. I really do. I was a fluid artist for a long time, so that was fun.
What kind of paint did you do? Curious.
Fluid, where you put something in the paint to make it fluid. You put it on the canvas and you make it. And you move it around the canvas, however, in different ways to make art. I actually have a whole YouTube channel separate from this called Peace to Colors Arts and Crafts that I actually really want to change the name, but because the supplies for candle making are so expensive right now, and I'm not really selling a whole bunch, I'm just kind of like, I don't really want to do a whole rebrand when I'm not even buying the stuff right now because it's so expensive. And like,
you want to see a little
with inflation and shit like that, it's just with inflation and shit, it's just like I got to raise my prices. And like, are people going to actually really want to pay that for?
Yeah.
Here's the thing: what I did with some of his paintings, which is the album covers that I did back.
Okay.
You have to watch the show. I really like the one on the left. I think I gave that to my therapist.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was one of my favorite ones too. It actually, to me, like has like action, like it really feels like it's actually moving. You know what I mean? You want
to know something? You want to know something that's crazy?
What's that?
The one in the middle. I made that with the leftovers from the one on the left.
Oh, that's cool.
I had leftover paint, so I just made that one real quick.
Yeah,
I like it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool, and I've sold a few, and but I just once I moved, I don't have the space for it anymore. And that really sucks
Gotcha.
because there's something I really want to make for myself. Like there's really like nothing on the walls in my house at all. Like nothing. I've lived here for over a year and there was nothing on these walls.
Wow.
Nothing. But also, I mean, I'm primarily, except for during the summer and, sometimes during the year, I other than those times, I live by myself most of the time. So, like, it ain't bothering me.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you live by yourself, well, what do you need?
Yeah. All right. So, what do you want to tackle first? Thanks.
We need some tackling fuel first.
I don't know
Tackling fuel.
It's chicks. You want to cover what we've been playing or what we've been watching? You know what, Delvin? I'll let you choose. What do you want to cover first?
Let's go with what we've been watching.
Okay. As stated earlier, I finally finished the second season of The Witcher. I like it. I don't like it nearly as much as the first season.
Okay. I got to get through the first season. I'm like halfway through the first season. I kind of fell off. I feel like something came out around the time the first season of Witcher came out, and I didn't get back to the show.
Yeah, and so I finished that, and so I got that knocked off the list, so I can finally move on to something else. I know. She-Hulk is getting ready to start soon. We've on one of my other podcasts, we finished Orphan Black as we review TV shows. So we finished Orphan Black.
The whole series?
Yeah.
Okay.
We go through it episode by episode. We went through the TV show Oz. We did Playmakers, and then we did Orphan Black. So we just finished Orphan Black, and I can't remember the name of the show that we're supposed to do, and I probably should remember that because the first episode is tomorrow. But I'll probably it's a thing. I'll probably watch it at work. You know what I mean?
Do y'all take recommendations?
We can, but it's been like we rotate between the three of us which one chooses. So like Rashani chose the first one because Brandon had never seen it, and they do a separate movie review podcast where they watch movies. So they started talking about it, and they were talking about Oz, and then we went with my choice, which was Orphan Black. But in between, Rashani wanted to do Playmakers, which it was only a season. The old ESPN show Playmakers. So it was only a season, so we chose that. And then I know Brandon wants to do several shows because the shows that we picked have had multiple seasons. So he's just going to pick like 3 different shows. 2 of them only have 1 season, and 1 of them has 2 seasons to kind of spice things up a little bit. But if it's something but like when it comes back around to me, you never know. What do you want? What do you suggest?
Luther.
I watched early Luther, and I don't know why I stopped watching Luther. I think, because Luther is one of those shows that they'll like a new season is out. It's 3 episodes.
Yes.
And then it'd be like 3 years, and then they put out another season. And
Exactly.
It's 2 episodes.
Yes. I love the show.
That can
It's
be
so
an
good.
idea. That can be an idea. You know what? I'll keep that in mind. Like I'll use that for one of the in betweens, like because it's not very long.
Yeah, because it's like you said, the season is like 3-4 episodes.
I was watching Misfits with my daughter because I went back and started watching Misfits. Misfits is an old British show. Yes. And they had a song, and the song was playing, and I was like, I fucking know that song. Why do I know that song? So I waited to the credits. So I looked up a thing on IMDb. Sometimes they have listed the music that's in the episode. And so I looked up the song, and it was the Luther theme song, and that's why I knew that song.
Yeah, I love the Luther theme song. It's by I can't remember the name of the group now. I bought the theme song, and it's on my phone. At one point, it was my ringtone. Paradise, I want to say something. Paradise.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's been a couple weeks since that happened. So, but I looked that up, and I was like, I know this song. Why do I know this song? And then that's what it was. But yeah, I really enjoyed Luther. I don't know why I stopped watching it. I really like the crazy chick.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember her name right now. The song Paradise Circus and Massive Attack. That's the name of the group.
Yeah. Massive Attack, and Massive Attack also is the theme song for
I
House,
love
right?
Massive Attack.
Yes.
Especially the album Mezzanine. That album's fantastic.
I don't think I know most of their.
It has a beetle in the cover.
I only know those two songs. I know the Luther song, and I know the house theme song.
Yes, both
Yeah.
great songs.
Why? Why I need to bring some Massive Attack for the reactions? Because that album's phenomenal.
I thought you was bringing Bjork.
I can bring that too. I mean, all that stuff's pretty related to that the kind of like trip hoppy. I love trip hop, but the one thing, if you could say something is dated, trip hop is dated as fuck. If anything sounds like the '90s and will always sound like the '90s, trip hop is that. It sounds like something that's going to play in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the Bronze. But stuff like Portishead, Sneaker Pimps, Massive Attack.
Okay.
The only thing I know about Portishead is it's a disease in 2 Point Hospital.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
They must be Portishead fans.
Portishead is a disease in 2 Point Hospital. Yeah.
I love it when I find little like Easter eggs like that to where you know that someone has made a reference to something they like. I just found that in one of the games I've been playing too. So
Cool.
Well, I mean the 2 Point games, they're made overseas, so they have a lot of references that I absolutely don't get, but I just roll with it anyway. Like, you know what I mean? And then like they have obvious references, especially like the disease Mockstar is you know exactly that they have Mockstar because they walk in looking like Freddie Mercury. Mockstar, like shit like that. And then there's another one where people look like Elvis. Like you know me, I love 2 Point Hospital. I'll talk about 2 Point Campus when we get to video games. I think those two are the most that I've watched, but it doesn't count as watching, but it is a series. I started listening to a kind of audio show called Power Trip, and is another thing because of course with Orphan Black and with She-Hulk incoming, I'm kind of on a Tatiana Maslany kick. So is a show. She's the main character in Power Trip, and she's one of the executive producers. And it's about this chick who gets I think it was a kidney transplant, and it gives her the power of suggestion.
Oh.
And then like then she realizes that this thing is it's different because like she starts meeting other people with powers, and it kind of goes from there. But yeah, she has the power of suggestion. She can say stuff to people and they'll do it. So it's been been really interesting so far. You can find it wherever you find podcasts because it's just a podcast at this point. But yeah, I really like it. And then of course, if you watch Orphan Black, the next chapter, you can get those 2 seasons on podcasts. And those are really good. The first season is read completely by her. She is all of the characters, including the men. And the second season, they bring in some of the actors from the show to be who they were.
That's dope.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm a fan of hers, and I am going to look past the crappy CG for She-Hulk and just enjoy her performance.
Yeah, I think that's best for everybody. Just enjoy the performance and see where to take the story.
Right.
I'm interested in She-Hulk. She-Hulk looks like it's going to be cool, despite this crappy CGI.
Yep. All right, what have you been watching, Devin? We'll get to Chase later. Chase always watch weird shit.
Watching one show mainly. I'm watching Sandman on Netflix. Have you guys heard of or watched this? It's
coming up soon. I have watched someone do YouTube videos about the comics, but I have not watched the show yet, but I want to. I'm going to get into that real soon.
Yeah, I just know of the comics. I haven't watched the show yet either.
It is a fascinating watch. I want to say I'm almost through. I'm on episode 7, and it gets like if you read the comics, it gets really dark and deep into the philosophies of life and different kind of situations. And I'm enjoying the show. I don't know. Enjoying is a strong word to use for a show like this because
do they take a different path with it because it's a TV show like The Boys did?
At some points it does, but not really. It still touches the same elements of the comic books and things like that. And I think it gets dark. It gets really. There's one episode. I don't want to spoil it, but it was rough. I want to say it's episode 6. It was, and to not, like I said, I don't want to spoil it, but it talks about death in a very interesting way. If you read the comic books, you probably know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And the way it kind of gets into that is, and the way they show you it visually, at points it's rough. Like it's really like, oh my God, like it touches on some really dark, deep things, and I'm like, this is a really fascinating show. Like, but I highly recommend it, but at the same time, I have to let people know, like, if you know nothing about Sandman, don't go in it thinking, because it's a Vertigo property, it's a DC property, so people hear DC, they think, oh, it's gonna be superheroes, boom, bap, bam. No, this is not that type of show.
Well, people see that a lot too, where they'll see, because unlike Marvel, DC does publish things that aren't like in the DC universe.
Yes, and this is very much that. So it's a lot of things you're gonna see. It's not very.
Also, Lucifer was DC, right?
Yes.
So
Constantine, who's well, I guess this is a small spoiler. It's not really a spoiler. Constantine is in the show.
Is it the Constantine from the DC TV shows?
No.
Is it? It's not Matt Ryan.
No, it's a character. They changed the character. It's a woman, actually.
Wow. Okay.
So it touches on little things like that. It's a very good show. If you can stomach some of the darker themes in certain things they do with it, because it gets dark. It gets really dark, and I like that it's really dark, and I like that it's touching on things that are very serious, and it's touching, heartwarming, sometimes touching, gut-wrenching things. And I'm enjoying the story. I highly recommend it. It's fascinating. It looks amazing. Like, it looks like the comics. And that says a lot, because the comics itself look very trippy and weird and kind of interesting and fascinating. So it makes you want to stare at the art. The show kind of brings that to the big screen. And I like that aspect of it. So, Sandman's the one. Definitely check it out.
I will.
You said
I'll
that's pretty much the only thing you've been watching?
Yeah, that's the only thing I've been watching.
Okay.
7 episodes so far. They don't feel, it feels like when I watch them, episodes just fly by. They don't feel as long. Like when I watched that Stranger Things last season, those episodes felt like they dragged on.
But they were all over an hour.
Yeah, they were like long. They felt like all of them feel like movies, but this doesn't feel like that at all. I think each one of these episodes are an hour. It doesn't feel like that. They feel like 30 minutes. So stuff happens in the episodes and it feels like it matters, so it doesn't feel as strenuous as watching other shows. So definitely check it out.
Word up. Chase, what you got for me?
Yeah, I haven't really been watching much either. I said kind of what I was watching on the game night, which only thing I really watched was I went back and watched Beverly Hills Cop. Like I kind of wanted something that I knew that I've seen a million times, and it's kind of
say yo baby, yo. Say ow.
No, I ain't falling for the banana in the tailpipe.
That movie has some problematic parts.
Oh yeah.
Now these days.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the 80s, so the thing is, when the theme song was hitting, I was just thinking, man, there's so many like kids and people that weren't. I wouldn't say I was like an older person in the 80s, but like that didn't grow up with that movie. Probably think that theme song came from wherever they heard it, because it's all over the place.
Fortnite. Some shit like that.
Yeah, these fucking kids think everything came from Fortnite. It's just like, like I had a conversation with my daughter like years ago with Fortnite and the fucking dances and shit. She was like, "Oh yeah, those are Fortnite dances." I was like, you do realize these dances existed before Fortnite, like so, yeah, like these dances existed, and then they put them in Fortnite. They don't exist because of Fortnite.
Yeah, it's weird that they can just take. And Destiny is all these games that have like emotes can just take dances and don't have to credit anything, because you can't really copyright a dance.
You can't copyright a dance. That's what's happening right now in the Black community. There's an issue with these people making and this was more prevalent like a few months ago, but it's these people doing this dance, and it's kind of like a slide, like a foot slide while moving, and the dance. Like any of us that care about marching bands, we know this is the Bethune-Cookman drum major dance. and like it was just everywhere, and everyone was doing it. And then some lady had made like a Jersey club mix of the A Bebe song with the with the beat sample from Anniversary from Tony is weird, but she made that bitch work. But like so like that was like a thing, and a lot of people were doing the dance and stuff like that. And I was just like, yo, why couldn't Bethune Cookman lock down their shit? And that's when someone told me, like, you can't copyright a dance.
Yeah.
So
crazy to think about, but yeah, that's the thing.
Because they were talking about that like years. I mean, I think we were talking about that back in like 2017 when it was when like the Carlton and stuff. Because like dude that played Carlton was like, I made this.
No,
shit.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. Soldier Boy, right? Soldier Boy came out with his dance, the first one, and that was like a big thing, right? Soldier Boy came out with another dance, right? And he called it the swag. And him and his homeboy recorded a video of them doing the dance called the swag. And we looked at that shit. It was just like, I don't know about this. Like that shit looked kind of gay. And this is what we said at the time. I'm a more evolved human, and I'm just gonna say that it just didn't look like a cool dance. Well, somebody just changed the name of the dance, made a better song to go with it, and called it the Dougie. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
And the same thing
works.
And then there's one dude came out with a song and he called it the Ricky Bobby. He did, and like he had a cool little song with it and everything. And I think the song didn't go very well. And some dudes from California just did the same dance and they called it the Cat Daddy, and they made a whole lot of money off of that shit.
That's how it works.
Yep. So so like that back those two instances is why I realized that like I guess you can just take a dance and call it something else and
well,
you good.
Look at it like this. In Miami booty bass, booty shaking.
You talking about Butterfly and Tootsie Roll?
That too. But if you were an 80s kid, you know about the 2 Live Crew, Pop That Coochie and all that stuff. They kind of created that type of vibe. And now you have twerking.
Yep, the same thing.
Same exact thing. You could $1 million industry. But that originated down here in Miami with Uncle Luke and the 2 Live Crew and Poison Planet and people like that.
You want to know what makes that whole thing worse. If you know Miami-based music, remember when crunk hit?
Yes.
One of the architects of Miami-based music, hold on. One of the people behind the bass music and was a man named Jonathan Henry Smith. He was one of the producers, and he produced like a lot of bass music. He actually did the So Def Bass All Stars album and all of this kind of stuff. And then he took that same concept, just slowed it down a bit, and created crunk. And that gentleman is now known as Lil Jon.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever been to Miami or South Florida, but there's a certain vibe around Miami, especially around the 90s, where people would buy these cars, like these 80s cars, call them dunks. That's what the term dunk riders come from.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on where you are, because the same cars in Texas are called slabs. Like that's Yeah,
and they will pull these cars out and like on the streets and like in the hood with all the speakers in the back of it, and they will play them in the projects. And when they play the music in the projects, the girls would come out there and dance, and I guess it's called twerk now, but that was like a huge thing in Miami. It's kind of a thing now everywhere now. Like you can't turn on the TV without seeing someone twerking or appropriating that type of culture. Like, Miley Cyrus made it a big deal when she was doing it. Everybody was so shocked and appalled. Oh, look at Miley Cyrus.
She had no ass, so that shit was just kind of nasty. And then, like, it just looked nasty. And then the fact that, like, when she did it at the awards, dancing with fucking, what's his name? Old boy from Blurred Lines. Robin Thicke. That shit just looked weird. Like, especially it looked weird because she ain't had no ass.
Yeah, because I think that's kind of a big part of twerking. You gotta have a little bit of something to twerk. But she helped popularize it to the mainstream audience and made it like recognizable to everybody now, where everybody feels like they need to do it. But that all started in Miami.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I also noticed something. You brought up cars and stuff. in Beverly Hills Cop, he was driving a Nova, and everybody
Yes.
in the movie considered that like a junker, you know.
Yes.
And it reminded me in the '80s, like muscle cars were very out of fashion. Nobody wanted them. Someone had a Nova. Now, you know, holy fucking shit. But back then, like even
Well,
the
if you got a
even
Nova
like
now, if you got a Nova now, you need some candy painting. You need to be sitting on grown folks. Like you can't just be out here. Like okay. Candy paint. Well, you understand what candy paint is. Sitting on grown folks means that your rims are over 18.
Yes.
Okay. I'm explaining this to Chase because, of course, so if you got a Nova, you could be all right, but you gotta have some. You gotta have some. You know your junk gotta be clean, and you gotta be sitting on grown folks at least.
Yeah.
but I mean, if you notice, like, have you seen a '80s or '90s Camaro? They don't look like muscle cars.
Yeah, that was like in the 80s. I vividly remember people a lot of like 80s and early 90s. A lot of people was in the Cadillacs. A lot of people liked the luxury cars back then, like the Cadillacs, and kind of like went on like even the mid 90s to the early 2000s. They were like Escalades and SUVs and stuff like that.
You remember when a Mustang looked like just a regular ass Toyota?
Yes.
Like in the early '90s.
I remember that. They were like, people wasn't into it. I want to say till 95, I want to say Mustang was like a regular ass Toyota.
I remember when SUVs became a thing. I remember, okay, so this is back when I was younger, when the drug dealers all started buying trackers.
Yes.
Nigga. Like we was like, yo, I can't wait to get old enough to start selling drugs so I can get me a tracker, dog. The tracker or a blazer. Like trackers and blazers used to be like used to be around my way. Those are drug dealer cars.
Yeah, I remember this.
Dude, a blazer used to look badass. Have you seen a blazer now? It just looks like a RAV4. Like,
yeah, they changed it up.
Well, the new blazers, the new news. They're going back to they're kind of like going back to kind of the older style.
Oh,
yeah,
like
they are
the new news.
You talking about the one that's electric?
Yeah.
They got the all electric blazer now. They look decent.
Yeah, so like the new news is going a little bit back, but like my the Blazers they do kind of look like RAV4s. My boss loves like RAV4s and shit like that. He has a electric hybrid. He has a plug-in hybrid RAV4 right now.
I mean, I'm not knocking on RAV4. I mean, I definitely like a RAV4. I'm just saying they don't look like Blazer. When I think of Blazer, I think of a badass looking motherfucker.
Yeah, but then even if you cared about even if you cared about RAV4s, I don't know who it was. There was a rapper who said, "What do you think I rap for? To push a fucking RAV4?" And they instantly went out of style at that point. I keep thinking Kanye, but I don't know.
I think it was Kanye.
Yeah, it was on Run This Town.
Yeah. I remember that because I just heard the song the other day.
Yeah. The Kanye said that shit, and if you want to be cool, like Kanye was at that time. I mean, I'm not saying that Kanye is cool now, but if you wanted to be cool like Kanye was at that time, RAV4 is not what you want.
It's so crazy how rap has made people think that certain cars just aren't cool.
Like, it's not just cars. Like fucking Biggie said one line about Kwame and ended his career.
Yeah,
his career was over. When he tells the story, like he was up to get re-signed. He was getting ready to re-up his deal. That song came out and no one would sign him.
Crazy.
And he said him and Biggie ain't even had no beef. He just put that shit in a line.
Yeah. It's so crazy how that works. Like I remember there was a Jay-Z song where he said something about he's talking about the Mercedes Benz, and he said that like I think it was the 300 is like the baby mom's car. So people just stopped buying those Mercedes. Like
but what you call it said that too. Cat Williams was instrumental in getting people off of 300s because his joke was. People like a Chrysler 300 because that shit looks like a Phantom until a Phantom pulls up. But yeah, I think I know. What you call it? Did he have a 300 or a 200? I know Scott used to have one of those. I think he had a 300 or a 200, one of those. But yeah.
I have realized in my older age now, fuck that. I'm just gonna buy the car I want that's fuel efficient and good for me. I'm not worried about what these rappers doing with their fake jewelry and impressing people. Like I'm not on that no more.
To be honest, the way that I use my car, I might as well have a smart car. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't use my car for a lot. Like, I don't go anywhere. Like, you know, since I moved here, all of the bills are on me. So like keeping my bills paid and all that kind of stuff. It's not like I got a lot of money to put into a car anyway. And like, I'm
When you
usually
say
by
smart
myself in the
car,
car.
you mean like an EV?
No, the smart car, like the little ass car. You know, that looked like it just only had 2 seats in that bitch. You know, the little teeny car.
Oh,
Fuck
because
it.
I was thinking about an EV. Because like, if I was thinking about like the time it would get me, because we do some trips to like the mountains and stuff, and it wouldn't do too good for that unless I got a newer one. But if I got like an older Leaf or something, just going to work, I'm not having to worry about
Oh,
plugging in it out there because I'm leaving home every day with a full tank. You know what I mean? Because I'm charging at home. So,
I
but I
I
went
I
against it
bought a
because of the trips.
I bought a Chevy Spark kind of for that reason. I got a 2015 Chevy Spark, which is fuel efficient,
Hmm.
and I fucking love that car. It's like fucking. I have had that car for over a month now, and I may have spent $80 in gas in total, driving
My
everywhere.
my boss bought, like I said, he got a RAV4 as a plug-in hybrid, but he primarily just uses the electric part. He carries his
So is it,
cable with him. He plugs it in while he at work, and he
I
basically
thought
just uses the electric.
I thought the Spark was electric.
They have an electric version and they have a fuel efficient version. I
Okay.
got the fuel efficient version. It's like I said, it works great for me. Like I'm enjoying the car. It's great.
Yeah. My boss only uses electric unless he has to go farther than he
Oh,
said.
there's
You know,
another one
it
called the
gets
Bolt. Is that one electric?
I think the Bolt is
the
electric.
Volt is 100% electric, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you finished what you've been watching. You said you ain't been watching much, right?
Right. Yeah, just old Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
Beverly Hills Cop, the first one.
All right. So what we've been playing. I have played absolutely nothing but 2 Point Campus in this past week. I haven't even played the Division because Division is my shit. But I have not played the Division. I completely missed a whole ass event in the game, and I don't care because I love my tycoon games, and 2 Point Campus is very much scratching that itch.
Well, you
And
played some
then,
aliens.
oh yes, we did play. We did play Aliens Fireteam Elite during the game night. And that's on the channel also. We were just having fun, but we
Yeah, I need to
weren't
pause just a
very
second.
we,
Yeah,
we
more
weren't very
people.
successful.
Yeah, it's Friday nights around same time as the podcast, so around like 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, just come into Discord, man. Like we sometimes don't even play the same thing. We've lately been playing Aliens Fireteam Elite, but a lot of the times we're just hanging out, and it's a good time. Like if you guys want to like just come hang out, we're
And the
definitely.
only reason why we don't play the same games all the time is because Chase and Blue are PC elitists, and that game just happens to be crossplay. That is
Gotcha.
all. That is all. But yeah, we played Fireteam Elite. We weren't doing very well, but we were still having fun.
That's good. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Left 4 Dead in the Aliens franchise. Like
Oh,
that's all
someone
it really
said
is.
something. Think of it like a Division or a Destiny as well. You're gonna need to
Mm,
do a little bit of that grinding to get that gear level up. It is a little bit of a looter shooter, but not as much as Division or Destiny. But you want to get
I wouldn't say so because like it's not because I wouldn't call it a looter shooter because the loot for the most part doesn't drop.
right. I wouldn't either, but if you're trying to like, if you're getting stuck on things, you might need to think of it a little bit closer to that than like Left 4 Dead because in Left 4 Dead, you finish No Mercy, you can go right on to the sewers, right? I mean, you don't have to worry about grinding No Mercy. But this, you might need to do that a little bit because you're trying to get your that whatever they call it. They call it some. Every game calls it something different, but you know what it means. That number.
Right. So yeah, yeah. I don't think I have much to say about 2 Point Campus. It's the next in the 2 Point series, except for you're running a school instead of running a hospital this time.
Is it
Um,
fun?
Well,
For me, it's very fun, and it's different. It's the same type of game, but it's different
Yeah, I was thinking
in the
like, what's
way.
the hook? Like when 2 Point Hospital, people are coming in with they're sick. When 2 Point Campus, what is
I
that?
think it's the it's the classes. The classes are not just normal classes. You know what I mean? Like, it's the gastronomy classes, was the cooking class, and like you're it's like these huge things, and like you're making like this huge pizza or this huge hamburger or like something like that. Like, and then like your one class, the robotics class, you're building a giant fucking robot, and once the robot is built, it just kind of flies off, and then they start over. And like, it eventually you get to night school, which is basically actually nights with a K. And like, and then there's another one. The one that I'm getting ready to start soon is the place called Spiffin Moore, which is the basically Harry Potter.
Fedor.
Yeah, and then there's one that's focused on like a sports class, whereas there's stuff like later on. I don't know how long it's gonna take me to get to that, but there's one where you're training like archaeologists, and it's like an Indiana Jones type class.
Okay.
And then there's another one where you're training spies. It's all kinds of stuff, and then like, and not only are you just like sending these people to school, but like they're building relationships. Like they have a thing where like you put items like different benches and interaction points where if they're there with another person, they build up friendships, and sometimes, and depending on the situation, like they can build relationships. And it's like actual like romantic relationships and all that kind of stuff. So like you're doing all of this stuff, and like it differs from hospital in that way. Like you have like a school year, and like the like things that you have to do during those school years to try to get bring in more money so you can buy more things. There's a lot of like mini like quests where these people, they need to complete assignments, so they will ask you, is like, hey, can I get a microscope in the science lab? And it's like this really huge fucking microscope, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just not like little things, but it's like, can I get a microscope in the science lab because I need to complete this assignment. So you have to build up your kudosh, which is the different. It's a currency that you use to buy things, to upgrade things. And like, so you have to make sure that you have enough kudosh so they can do their assignments and all this kind of stuff. And the more they level up, the more money you get from them. You have revenue from like your dorms and stuff like that. Dorms is completely different than it would be in real life. It's like 5 people to a bed. You know what I mean? So like
jail.
No, it's like they kind of take turns. Like, there's no like
Still like jail.
there's no like night. So like it's like constantly going. And so it's really cool. Like you can build up all kinds of stuff. Like you can have like a student union and like put a fucking stage in that shit, and you can have people come and perform, and like all kinds of shit that you can do. You can your lecture halls, like all of the things, all of the classes need lecture hall, but like when the lecture hall is not going, you can show movies, and that like satisfy some people's wants and needs and stuff like that. It's all kinds of stuff that you can do that's different from like hospital. Hospital is basically just really running a hospital, and people come in with these weird ass fucking it was, I mean, Tumor Hospital is really the spiritual successor to Theme Hospital. Like that's basically what it was, and apparently some of the same people or were on the team at 2 Point. This is something different. It works similarly, but not close enough that you can call them the same thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like the difference between Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster.
Gotcha.
Which are 2 games that I watch people play those games, but like the level of detail that people put into those games is like, I don't think I'll ever play that.
Well, like Planet Coaster and stuff.
Yeah, that shit can get real complicated. And like, how people do to design those things, like to design their zoos and all that kind of stuff, and even just enclosures. It's like, holy fuck, man! There's some really creative ass people out there that can do some real cool things, and I don't think I'm ever going to be on that level. So, but I haven't played very much because my daughter, of course, was here for the summer. She didn't bring her Xbox, so now she is using my Xbox One. And if she's playing anything that she didn't buy herself, I can't use my Series S because she got to have my profile active in order to use the stuff that I have. So, fuck me on that one. But yeah, man, I'm really enjoying the game. And then of course I did play As Dusk Falls, but we'll probably talk about that in a minute. I'll let Chase go first, and then we can talk.
Gotcha.
All right, cool. Yeah, same with the Aliens Fireteam Elite. We've already really touched on that. I had actually for the YouTube channel thinking about adding some more content, so I went back and I'm gonna do a long play. Well, I am doing a long play, which I guess is kind of like a let's play, but you don't talk and it's like the whole game, I guess. But and I'm doing that of the game
That's just
Fear.
broadcasting the game. Like, can you do that?
Can I do
I
it?
think you can.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I did. I was bored one day and I watched a condensed version of someone playing through the Division 1. It was like 6 hours, and I watched the whole thing.
Oh, that's all it takes to play through that game? 6 hours?
No. They cut some stuff out. They cut all of the side stuff out. It was just they put it just on the actual main missions of the game.
But yeah, that's gonna be Fear, the first encounter Assault Recon. It came out in 2005, so it was like right before the 360, but it ended up getting released on the 360. But it was released on PC first.
I actually have those, I think.
I really like them. I mean, it's probably hard for if someone didn't play them before to go back. Well, at least the first one because it's so old. But to me, it's still like super fun because it deals with like time manipulation and all that stuff. And if you're dealing with time manipulation, you're already like, I'm going to shoot this dude with a shotgun, but it's super slow, and he's going to like go, and it makes me laugh.
I watched someone trying to explain the story of the Fear franchise, and
the Fear story is fucked up.
Convoluted as fuck. Like it was just like, wow. Like
I wouldn't say it's convoluted, but it's definitely fucked up.
Yeah.
Like
a weird girl just stares at you.
What's the chick name?
Fires. Yeah.
But I also watched it. I also watched a bunch of stuff on the Horizon series because I don't think I'll ever play those games.
It is not. It's on PC. But the game is at least the second one. What happens at the end of the second one is not PC, even though it was released on PC. But
anyway. Are you eventually going to do for 3?
Well, actually, I have did that one before, which I might just do that again. But that was with Fred Rojas. We did it for Extra Life. We just played the whole game over a night, like just straight up, and that was really fun because that's a co-op game. So the other games aren't co-op, but that one you play as the bad guy in the first one. You team up in the third one, and one of you has to play him, and one of you has to play the main character. So
interesting.
It's cool because the bad guy is a ghost. So unless you're like you can possess the enemy team members and just like shoot them in the back and stuff. So it kind of got shit on, but every game that's the third one always gets shits on, right? So and I thought it's a lot better than people made it out to be, especially if you play in co-op. I could see it not being very good if you play it by yourself, but I've always played it in co-op because even when the game first came out, me and Amber co-opted it together, like because it was split screen on the 360. But I played a little bit of Destiny, not too much, but the season's almost over, so we were like, we kind of need to wrap up some stuff. So, but it's been a minute since I played some Destiny. But most of that's just because I've been sick and all that stuff, and just not been feeling like playing something as intense as a game like that, So I've mostly been playing Valheim, which is how I play it. Is super relaxing and to where I'm not really, and I've been mostly playing with my brother, and that's who pretty much got me into the game. And we just have a world that's just me and him, and we just been doing the thing,
Word.
doing. And I went back and played Silent Hill 3. That's the thing I was wanting to talk about. How people like put inspirations in their game. Let me bring up the thing real quick.
Which one is Silent Hills 3?
That's the one where you play the little girl from the first one, but
Gotcha. Okay.
she's a teenager or a young adult, I guess. But she still here we go. All right. I've only played that game once, and a little story about that is that I really wanted it, and that was back in 2003. I paid for that game in quarters at Target. I remember it so clear, and me and my friend went and I got it in quarters, and then went back and we basic controller passed. Well, this game is highly inspired by this movie called Session 9, which I have up on the screen, and there's a scene with a wheelchair that's just sitting there. Well, the whole movie is like this crew just going in to like get rid of asbestos out of this mental asylum, and because they've shut it down because they're going more therapeutic with group homes and things like that. So this was one of the ones, and then atmospheric ghosty shit starts happening. But the whole game is kind of inspired by the movie, but then in the game, that's a screenshot from the game I took. It pretty much is the same fucking thing as the cover of the movie.
That shit done. Let me look this up.
But
so I can watch this.
Yeah, it's a good movie, man. It's a little slower, but it's a very good movie. Lots of really creepy atmosphere.
Okay.
It's by the same director or writer as the movie The Machinist. I don't know if you ever saw that with Christian Bale, where he got all fucking skinny and shit.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah,
I've heard
that was a pretty decent movie.
I've heard of it, but I don't.
But it's so
crazy.
crazy.
It's just like that movie that 50 Cent got really super skinny for, and then ain't nobody seen it.
Yeah. He thought he was going to win an Oscar.
Is The Machinist the movie where he had the outburst?
No, that was Terminator Salvation.
Oh yeah, when he went off? Okay.
I remember that one very vividly because it was hilarious as fuck.
But
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a Terminator film since 3.
Yeah, I haven't even seen 3. I haven't seen the Terminator film since 2.
God bless you both, because well, Dark Faith is okay. I know the last 2 were not too bad, but there are some really bad.
I want to play that game, that Resistance game. I heard that's actually pretty good, but I haven't played it yet.
And I watched a little bit of the TV show, but of course, the TV show had old girl in it, and any show that she's in gets canceled.
But
old girl, talk about.
What's her name? Summer Glau.
Oh yeah.
Anything that Summer Glau, any TV show that Summer Glau plays in gets canceled. Like
it's true.
It don't last. Look, she plays in some shit. It don't last very long at all. Thank goodness she was only in one episode of Angel before she fucked that whole thing.
I didn't realize that till you said that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is that remember I said I haven't played it since it came out. I don't know why I haven't played. I played 2 a lot, because I really love that game. But then 3, I only played it once. So when I'm playing it now, I remember the first part, and I remember the mall, and then I remember the park. The park is like the end of the fucking game. So there's all this shit, and I'm like, I don't remember this shit at all. So it's like I'm playing a new game. And, and playing on PC with the emulator, you can, like, render it at, like, 4K and shit. So it looks great for, like, a PS2 game. And so I've been enjoying myself at that shit. And people say that Silent Hill is tank controls. Silent Hill is not tank controls. It's tank controls is when like Resident Evil. When Silent Hill you have the cinematic camera like Resident Evil, but when you push up on your joypad, they're going to move forward like where their
fixed camera.
Yeah,
it's different. It's a fixed camera as opposed to tank controls.
Why the fuck can't we get a new Dino Crisis?
Because they don't want to make it.
Why would they make a new Dino Crisis? Like, you would think that someone would be like, you know what, we can make a Dino Crisis. They're still making Jurassic Park movies. We'll release it when a Jurassic Park movie comes out. That's a win.
Yeah,
I would think it's a good idea.
They put the marketing behind it and like show that it's like an old thing coming to new. Like I think if they get a good marketing team, they could really bring it. They could do the same thing with Onimusha. You know what I mean? With
You
how
saying that
well that like
Ghost of Tsushima?
yeah.
I've been
And
saying that about Parasite Eve forever. Just make another Parasite Eve.
I wanted to like that so bad, but like there was some things that like I just couldn't get past certain parts. But like the story of it was so weird that I just really wanted to. But that was before Let's Plays and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, well, can't get past that. I guess I'll never see the ending of this game. And now these days, kids will just be like, I'm just going to stream or watch someone play the Telltale games. I was like, you can just play that. It's not hard.
Yeah. That's the thing people do now. Like, why? Just play the game.
I did watch As Dusk Falls. I watched someone play through As Dusk Falls, so I can't really say.
Well, you could see like how they that could because you could see how they do their
What path they went down.
yeah.
Mhm.
If they fucked up enough so you don't fuck up.
And the one that I watched, they went down a path of destruction. Like so many people died. So many people died.
Oh yeah, well, we were talking about in the Discord. Yeah, that second Dark Pictures. Yeah, I loved it until the end, man. I don't, that
Which one you talk about? You talk about
Little Hope. I just
I like Little Hope a lot until like I said, the ending is just weird.
like I just hate these cop out endings where like the ending is not that it's all a dream, but it's basically an ending like that. Oh, it's all a dream and nothing mattered. I'm like, oh. I mean, I guess it matters some if everyone died, then yeah, he would die too. But still, like it's just
I
such
like
a
the
cop out
concept.
ending.
These are not games that I play very often. The only reason why I ended up playing As Dusk Fall is because I didn't want to put the money on the Quarry, which is what my daughter really wanted.
Quarry's a good game.
I ain't paying no $6 for them damn.
I think it's $30 now. I think I saw it on Best Buy for $30.
I'm good.
If you get it for $30, it's worth $30. The Quarry's an interesting game. I enjoyed my time with it. I know people have their problem with supermassive games, and I completely understand it. But I enjoy what they do and what they bring to gaming in terms of like, hey, this is not going to be your action-packed game. This is going
I
to be.
do think that like people keep putting like Resident Evil, The Evil Dead, Predator, what's the other one? Friday the 13th, making those in these games where it's like a 4v1 type game. They need to make them into a supermassive type game, like a supermassive Friday the 13th, a supermassive what's the other one? Like Evil Dead. Because I hate these 4v1 games. Like I played Dead by Daylight once, and I was like, even when I played The Killer, I still was like, this is kind of boring. I'm just kind of like walking all slow trying to find someone to kill. Like, I just don't get the gameplay loop of any of those games.
Haley from PSVG says she wants.
You're muted, Scar.
Yeah, you're muted, Scar.
Oh shit! I got a friend who he streams a lot, and that is the only game that he plays. Dead by Daylight. That is the only game that he plays. It's just.
Well, friend of the podcast, Husky, likes that game a lot. So, I mean, there's people that I know that I respect their opinion on that like that game. I just don't. I don't know. It just, I just don't get it.
Yeah, don't really appeal to me. All right, it's Delvin's turn because we getting close to 3 hours.
We ain't getting no closer than 3 hours.
3 hours since we've been here, not 3 hours since the show's been running. 3 hours since we've been here.
I played a couple of games, but we talked a little about To Dust Falls. I played that one a little bit.
Okay, so how did your beginning go? Like we can talk about up to where you are.
You want to do spoilers with it?
I mean, if you can do all the spoilers you want to because your game could be completely different than mine.
Okay, so I'll tell you. Like I like the story. It's fascinating. Like my character. The game starts off when you have a car accident or not, depending on it. What you do is how bad the car accident is or isn't.
Right.
And the rambunctious teens run you off the road and send a little bad word, and then you have to break into the house, the sheriff's house. I'm trying not to be too spoilers.
Did you remember the code? I didn't. I thought I had it, and then I
did. I didn't remember it. Let me ask you this, because did you encounter the dog?
Yes.
What did you end up doing with the dog?
I tried. What was it? I tried. Was it? Is like you had the option. You can try to talk to him. You could like. I can't remember exactly what I did. Like throw a stick or something like that.
Yeah, you could either throw a stick, which is what I did.
That's what I did.
You can talk to the dog to try to calm him, or you can do something, or you can just straight up bolt and run. I think I threw a stick, and the dog wasn't having that shit at all. He's like, "Fuck
not
you."
one bit. And I threw a stick. Also, it was just like, nah, dog. We not having this today.
Yeah, and I ended up locking the dog like in the pool house or some shit like that.
Yep.
Because I tried to take. But yeah, I like the game. I like that the game is so different, and there's so many different kind of ways you can get to certain parts of the story. Like even when you get in the house after you lock the dog inside, and you see the chief's wife, and you realize that she has a condition, and you can decide to tell her what's going on.
Nah, you know what? The funny thing about that, because this is early in the game, the funny thing about that is like if you stop her from pressing the button and you just talk to her, she'll be like, he'll never tell me. She'll be writing the shit down. She'll be like, he'll never tell me shit anyway. Try over there. Like, whatever he's into is his fucking business. Like,
yeah, he does say that.
She's like, yo, I was like, yo, the wife is like, I mean, she might as well just held up aside and say, fuck that nigga, son.
Yeah, because that's essentially when I was playing it, I pulled the alarm out so she couldn't call nobody to alarm people. And I told her, like, hey, there's the ghouls downstairs. I don't want nothing to happen to you. So let me protect you. But I need to know where this cat Buddy at. And she's like, all right, I don't care. You don't tell me shit anyway, so go look in here.
Yeah, when we played, me and my daughter played, eventually the husband of the family, he died.
Oh.
Yeah, he died. And because I thought the decisions that I was making, right? I thought the decision that I was making was going to be like, okay, he's going to take one for the team and he's going to be all right. Because at that time, I had already been watching the other one where the little girl got taken and she survived it all. But of course, she survives it because you see her at the very beginning in the pool.
Yeah.
So, she survives this regardless. But like, there's all kinds of stuff that like, have you been through the end of the standoff?
No, I'm almost at the end of the standoff.
Okay.
I'm out right after the part where they tell you can send one person out.
Okay. Now, those two things, like, depending on who goes out, it is vastly different from each other.
Who did you send out? I'm trying to see if we got it different.
We sent out the kid.
That's what I did.
But if you send out the dad, it's a completely different situation where he tells you the truth about some shit. If you send out the dad, he tells you that he doesn't really have cancer, all this other shit. Like,
I was fucking him up.
he tells you all this shit. He doesn't say any of this. Like, if you send a little girl out, he never says anything. He never says anything about.
And you beat his ass.
Like, he tells you he doesn't have cancer, and he only came up with that so that he can try to get back in with his son because he was gone for so long.
No, he have to catch that fade. We got to fight.
Yeah. So like it's like vastly different, and like everything is different depending on who you send out.
I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah, but the problem that I have with that game, I don't know whether they're gonna have some DLC or something like that, but that shit ends on a hell of a cliffhanger.
They have to have a season 2. I think
it is. I mean, in both the one that I watched and the one that I played, it ended on the same cliffhanger, even though the situations were different. It ended on the same cliffhanger, and I have to know what happens next.
Well, the sequel's just going to be called Dusk, right? But there's already a game called that, so.
Yes, there is. Look how Scarfinger's looking.
But yeah, I like how that and like the character of Jay, he ends up in two wildly different places in what I play. The difference between what I played and the difference between what I watched. Whoa! Now a lot of the same conversation happens. But where that character ended up was wildly different. I can't wait for you to get through it and we can have a real fucking conversation about some shit. Like we didn't.
I will touch on this because there's one part of the game that I'll talk about that really hit me hard. Like, there's a scene in the game which I don't think I've ever seen in a video game where you, depending on how you play it, you find out that your partner's cheating on you.
Nigga. Like, yo.
And,
all right, so what had happened was I had seen it before I played it. So I played it a little bit differently than with the way that I seen it, but eventually it ended up in the same place. But like that scene,
it's rough.
That shit got really real.
It got rough.
Because like if you've ever been through something like that,
and I have,
bruh.
It's like, yo,
when you have, it's like, man, this shit is hitting way too close. Like, okay, let me pause this shit. Let me go handle some other shit real quick.
That's how I felt.
This shit got a little too close because, like, yo, they getting ready to pack and move, and her phone starts buzzing,
and then you see who it is, and
he looks at the phone, and he looks at the phone purely because they hadn't heard from the moving company. Like, so he thought that they might have called her. So he looking at the phone, and like some dude is on her phone.
Yeah.
And then when you ask her, she is just lying her ass off.
Yeah, that's like, the cool thing about the game. Like, you can either you can call out on her lies, you can bring clues and evidence to her about it. Like, we know what the fuck you're doing. Right. Or you can just brush it off and ignore it. Yeah. There's so many options that could alter the story.
It's like
how
some
you can
LA Noire type shit.
No, it's not LA Noire. It's not quite LA Noire, but like, because LA Noire is so fucking unbalanced.
Yeah. It's like a real conversation. It sounds
like what you were just describing, though. Like in the enhanced edition of LA Noire and the PC edition as well, they changed it from like doubt, like was it truth, doubt, and something else. Well, they changed it to where like one is that you have evidence that you can prove. Doubt is that you're trying to catch them in a lie, but you don't have the evidence to back it.
This is more like an organic conversation. That's how it flows better. It's not like here, bitch, here's my proof. No, it's more like, well, what about this? You can ask this question. And you can basically tell her, I know what the fuck you're talking about.
You said that this is happening, but like I noticed some things. Like you can bring
a real relationship. Like you can call it out, like certain things you notice and she's like, oh, fuck, you got me. Like how you said you're at this place at this time, but you're really not at this place at this time. So I called and checked it out. And it's not like you look at the environment like, oh, I know this is happening. No, you're based off of your experience of being in this relationship, you kind of know what's going on.
Man, that shit got so real. That shit got so real because this shit happened to me twice. So like,
it's crazy because it's like you find yourself getting upset. Like fuck, because you see the text, you read the text, and then you hear her trying to cover it up.
Yeah, it's just it's. I mean, it's just real. And I love the fact that it's not. And y'all talked about this in the show. On PSVG, about how like it's not like a Telltale game where in between stuff you're kind of moving your character around, choosing to talk to this person, that person. No, they do all of that shit for you. It might be a little, like light quick time events, but for the most part, like it's just telling you the story.
Yeah, it streamlines the story for you. It tells you the story, and you react to what's happening in your environment. Basically,
no,
you don't have no urgency, no idea where you're going. You just go there, and based on the decisions you make, determines where you go and where the story goes from there.
And also,
I like that aspect.
Also, Telltale games give you the illusion that you're making a choice, but everything ends up in the same place.
Yeah. Yes. This no, it doesn't. Absolutely doesn't. There are some story beats that are similar between what I played and what I watched, but where it ended up, way different.
Yeah, and the Supermassive games have that, but the problem with the Supermassive games is they're way different. Depends on life or death, like who dies, who lives. This game doesn't necessarily depend on that. This depends on like your relationship with people. Like I'll give you a perfect example how earlier in the game, and this tickled me a lot. You're playing. You have to cover your eyes. You have to describe what what you saw, remember it to your daughter. And you can choose whether to tell the truth or cheat. So I chose to cheat. Just thinking like, how this not gonna make a difference. Don't fuck with my child.
No, she called you on that shit.
Then, yes, and later in the story, when you're talking to the people at the hotel, you're being sincere and asking for help. Your daughter look straight up just says, "Don't believe Daddy, he's a liar." It's just out of the blue, like what the fuck? And the people look at you like, "Oh, why is she saying that?" And it's like, fuck, that backfired. Something that you would think is so harmless, and you playing with the child, your child called you out of being a fucking lion and playing in the game. It's like it's a cool element to the story in terms of like it's something you wouldn't expect to happen.
The person that I watched cheated. I guessed, and I happened to guess right. Just happened to guess right. And I don't know how I did it, but I did it. But yeah, so like it's so vastly different, and I can't talk about some of the differences in the ending, but just know that like where that shit goes, it can go wildly different.
Yes,
super different, and like depending on like when you're certain characters, if you decide to tell somebody the truth, and like where it changes, it changes so significantly if you decide to tell a certain person the truth as opposed to lying. But like if you lie, when that lie catches up to you, it's like whoa, buddy. It's crazy. It's crazy, and yeah. I really like the game, and I hope they got some DLC or another game or whatever. Hopefully that's on Game Pass also, because I really want to play. I really want to play again and just make some wildly different choices just to see how different. Because like you see from the graph after the fact, like you
branching paths.
There's a bunch of branching paths that you ain't even hit.
I want to check that out too, because so far in the game, none of my people have died yet. And I've read a little bit of how it can drastically, like one decision, if I would have made the wrong decision, I would have lost like 2 people just like that. Like, okay.
I lost 3 people.
The sniper situation?
Nope, I survived that. The character survived that one. Because I wanted the other people to trust me. If
you didn't do what you did, that shit would have went left real bad. Yeah, because I read about that one. Like, yeah, that one goes left.
I want to see what happens when that shit goes left, because both me and the one that I watched, we said something. It's like, hey, you know, I ain't trying to have somebody get killed over my shoulder, dog. Like, that's not what I want to do.
It goes left real bad if you don't say something.
I'm gonna let that shit happen, dog. It's about to be I'm about to be a whole ass problem, because I'm gonna make some drastically different choices when I play by myself.
Yeah. Let me ask you, the father, how did you play him as?
Okay, so I played him as he tried to be tough for his family, but eventually he would fold.
I played him as a strong person who would do anything for his family. And like at one point, I ended up fighting the guy for the gun and beat his ass for the gun and pulled the trigger. Mm-hmm. And it just so happened that the gun was empty. He was like, "You were going to shoot me for that?"
Here's the problem that I have with that. When you're wrestling him for the gun, it goes off.
Yeah.
So that means he only had one shot in there. He was like, "You think I would just give you a loaded gun?" And it was like, "No, but the gun was loaded. You had at least
it was.
It was a shotgun. You had one in there because it goes off." So what are you saying?
Yeah, and that scene was interesting to me, because he's like, "Oh, you were going to kill me." I'm like, "Well, you're going to fucking take my wife." So that ain't happening, Captain.
Right. So yeah, it's really cool. I don't want. We're talking about stuff that's early in the game, so it's not spoiling anything significant. And there's like a bunch of different decisions you can make and be in different places. So
I highly recommend playing this game for anybody. I like this game so much. I hope they have a PS5 version for people who have a PlayStation and want to try it, because it's that good of a game. It's such a
is it on PlayStation?
No. It is not. It might be a Microsoft only game. It might be a Microsoft Studio game.
It's on Xbox and PC. Damn.
It's a really good game.
It's on Game Pass, right?
Yes.
Yep. All right. What else you got? And then we can wrap this up.
I'll tell about one of the other games I played that I was talking about on PSVG, but I'll talk about it right now. I played a game called Bright Memory Infinite. Have you heard of this game?
Is that the one by one dude?
I think it might be. It's a first-person shooter action adventure game. It's an indie game, and for an indie game, it looks great. The game length is about, I want to say, 3 hours long, maybe, and all it is just this big ass action set piece where you play as this character. I can't remember her name. I think it's like Chin, and there's like this black hole like in the middle of like the city. And you have to go towards that black hole and stop whatever's causing that black hole. The plot's nonsensical, but it's fun as fuck because you have a sword. It plays a lot like you ever played that game. What is the name of the game that had I can't remember the name of the game. It's also kind of an indie game that has like the Asian culture where you have the sword and the guns and stuff like that. I can't remember that. But anyway.
Devil May Cry?
No, it's a first-person shooter game too. Can't remember the name of the game. But either way.
Vanquish?
The game, no, not Vanquish. It's because it's first-person shooter. Dragon something.
Vanquish is third person, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just trying to think of things that are sort of like that, but Dragon something.
Yeah. The sequel just came out not too long ago again. But it doesn't matter. But the game is a first-person game where you have a sword that you can shoot, that you can slice people with. And you also carry guns like machine guns and stuff like that. And you're going through the environment and you can slice people up while you shoot them. It's so much fun. It plays like it's fast-paced action and you just keep constantly moving and the story keeps moving with you. And it has these big action set pieces that you really can't tell us an indie game. Like the environments look great. Even the character models don't necessarily look great. They almost look like generic, but the environments look really great. It looks like almost like a tech demo for the PS5 when it first came out. Like, oh, this is what we're trying to do. It doesn't look too polished, but it looks polished enough. We're like, oh, I can see where you're trying to go. How they have like the rain effects dripping off the screen and how it looks like ray tracing is all in effect all throughout the game.
Are you talking about Shadow Warrior?
Yes, Shadow Warrior. It plays like Shadow Warrior.
Okay.
Where you have a character who can carry like a gun. You press the triangle button to slice with the sword. You press the R2 button to use your machine gun and stuff like that. And you travel the environments and you can also grapple on the environments. But it's such a fun, action-packed game that it's short. Like I said, I beat it. It's like 2 to 3 hours long. The story is constantly moving. It's nonsensical.
Is it replayable or?
Yeah, it's very replayable because you can play as you can play it again and get more weapons and.
So it's kind of like those like platinum games. Platinum games are normally, or at least the old ones were like shorter games, like the Transformers Devastation and stuff is a short game, but you were supposed to replay it to to get more stuff. But like the game's not that hard. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun just going through the atmosphere, fighting the bad guys, and figuring out how to mix the sword play with the gun play. I like that a lot.
And it looks like it was made by one person.
It's dope. It's really good. It's impressive. I like it a lot. I like it way more than I should. I don't think it's that much money neither. It's probably like, what is it? If you want like a fun game to play, don't not worry about like it's okay. It's
not going to be pulling on your heartstrings. But I heard that game's got some like jiggle physics and stuff. Some like for the.
I will say this. I didn't notice this. It wasn't that bad through the first playthrough of it, but after I played through it and looked at the costumes that you could put, because the main character is a female, you could put her like in like a mini skirt and stuff. Like, oh, this is a little weird.
What's the first person? That's how you gonna see the mini skirt.
Like you could put her like a schoolgirl outfit and stuff like that. Oh, that's a little weird. Why are we doing this? But I had a blast with it. It's a really fun game. Fast-paced action game that I liked a lot. It's like $20 or something like that. Might be even cheaper than that. But like I said, it's a good 3 hour, 4 hour game. Not even 3 hours. Like 3 hour game. Definitely check it out if you want a quick action-packed game to play. Turn off your brain.
So it's like the complete opposite of As Dust Falls.
Yeah. Pretty much.
As Dust Falls is pretty long. Like we did it in basically 2 sittings, but like we really like sat there for a while, contemplating. Like remember, it took me a little bit longer than everybody else because I was going back and forth with somebody on making the decisions.
Yeah.
So
that had to be interesting.
Yeah, it is. It really is because if like I said, on normal decisions, on normal decisions, if you choose something different, it'll go back and forth and it'll randomly decide which one to go with. When it gets to the important decisions, it's majority rules. But since there is no majority with two people, you have to agree. In those conversations,
they make you wait?
When you get to the major decisions, you have to agree. If it's just two people, maybe if you had three, is best 2 out of 3. But no. You have to agree when it's just you and another person.
That's cool. That is really cool. I like that aspect of it.
I wonder how chaotic 8 players is.
That has to be nuts. Okay, Bright Memory Infinite is $20.
Yeah, sorry.
So,
well, apparently there's a I don't know if it's a like a kind of a demo-ish version of it, but there's a thing called Bright Memory without the Infinite by the same guy that's $7. I don't know if that's like
I think that was
like a tech demo version of the same thing.
I think that's what that was. I played that. It's kind of like a tech demo type game, but it's like I said, I enjoyed the game a lot. It's really fun.
Word up. Cool. All right, are we going to speak on anything else, or are we going to wrap this up?
I think we're good, man. Holy shit.
Yana. Delvin, tell the people where they can find you, man.
You can find me on Twitter at Delvin_Cox. Check out, play some video games anywhere you get podcasts, and check out the Delvin Cox Experience anywhere you get podcasts, and check out PSXP anywhere you get podcasts. Those are the main 3 shows I do. Oh, and Cadillac on Mars. Can't forget that one with Chaffee. He killed me.
Shout out to Chaffee. He bucked on us. He was supposed to be on the show, and then now I see why y'all don't have episodes very often. But my man, thank you again for coming through. You're welcome, it's always a blast. And I'm still catching up on the podcast, but I tried to listen to the most recent one just to try to get what's happening right now. But like I said, my commute is short, so I didn't get too deep into the episode. But man, I'm a fan. So
yeah, this podcast has been around. Like our podcast has been around for a minute, and like every like community that we kind of like get in with, that they're kind of like sister podcaster almost, they all like end because we've been like almost 500 episodes later, so we're like, we need to find some like who is like a podcast we would consider. So I don't know.
The show has been The Boys just for a while now.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I'm a fan, so thank you, Doug.
No problem.
And if even if it's not August or spring fling, if you want to come through, holla at your boy, holla at one of us, and we can do the thing. I always enjoy this. I enjoy this, and I enjoy everyone who listens. Thank you. Do the things like, share, subscribe, talk to your people, tell your mama them, tell your cousin them. That's how we do. And we'll be back with more August next week. This is moving. We got 2 more left.
Yeah.
Crazy to think August almost gone. That's wild.
Yeah, because next week my daughter starts school. Well, she has like an orientation thing on the 25th.
Yeah, I can't believe it's almost fucking September. On the 29th.
Yeah,
it's too hot to be September. Almost.
Yeah.
But actually, today has been really cool. Like it was
today's been decent, but
it was like 70. It was like 73 today. I wore pants to work.
90 degrees in Miami.
Well, I mean, it's Miami.
Yeah.
90 degrees is a brisk day for y'all.
It's like 90 degrees on Christmas.
That's happened before, plenty of times.
I can't. I cannot fathom it being like that hot on Christmas. Like, and then I don't care about no white Christmas or anything like that. But like, I can't fathom it not being at least like chilly on Christmas. You know what I mean?
Sunburn Christmas.
I don't know about no sunburn Christmas. Oh man, that could be a show title too. Okay, I'm gonna put that down. And all right, so thank you all again for checking us out. We'll be back next week, and with more August. Peace out to the Warriors, y'all.
Peace.
Later.
I like that shit, yeah, boy. Yeah, I'm telling you, Whoa. All right, I ain't gonna talk.